everybody, it's Kathy Champion with Random Acts of Crafting, and I'm coming to you with part 2 of our Shabby Chic card. And I told you in the last video that I was going to show you how to make a box envelope for this. So I'm using my 123 punch board, and on here, if you have one of these and you look right here, I'm going to bring this up and I hope you can see that. It says for a 6x6, and that's what our card is, that we're going to cut our paper 9 3/4 by 9 3/4, and we're going to score at the 4 7/8 line. But if you notice up here, it says for box envelope, also score on the score line B, envelope score line B. So we'll score here, and then we'll also score on the B line. So we will need to extend our arm so that we can score all the way down that paper. But let's go ahead and cut our paper first, and then we will go from there. So 9 3/4, which is almost like 1/4 of being a 10-inch piece of paper. So we're going to score that, cut that, and then turn it and cut it again, because we know that anytime we make an envelope, we have to start out with a square piece of paper. So there we go. So, and this is going to be made the same way you would make any other envelope. The only difference is you're going to make that score line in those two places. Now, I do like to use this little tool for my scoring, so I always pull that out. And I'm going to try to move this in so you can see exactly what I'm doing. I am filming on my new camera, and I'm very excited about that. So we need to go back and look, and it's 4 7/8 is our first punch. So 4 7/8, almost to the 5, and we're going to punch, and we're going to score here, and then we're also going to score here, and then we're going to turn it, and we're going to line our, it says the score line A, so that's going to be that first score line. So if you put this back in, you're going to line up this first score line right there against this line right there, and we're going to punch again, and we're going to score, and then we're going to score that one, and again this is our A, so we're going to line up to the inner line, always going to be the inner line, and we're going to punch and score, and we're going to turn it, and we're going to do this one more time, lining it up on that second score line, or the first one to you, and we're going to punch and score and score. Oops, kind of got off right there. Anyway, that's all of our punching other than rounding our corners. Now, I always like to round my corners on the envelopes, so I'm going to go back in and just round these edges like so. Like I said, I did get my new camera today, so this is my first video filming on the new camera. I'm hoping that my qualities of video and the cutoff times that I've been experiencing, that will cease, and we will have a much smoother process now. That's what we're hoping for. So we're going to bring this back, and what we're going to do is go ahead and crease these lines. I am going to get my bone folder, and we want to get a good crease on these lines, our score lines. And while you've got it there, go ahead and do that second score line, because these are the lines that's actually going to give us that dimension of a box. As you can see, that's going to build up and make a box for a box envelope for our card. And like I said, with this particular card, you would need to mail this in a box envelope because it is very dimensional. So I think that by doing it like this would definitely be the way to go, because you would hate to send a beautiful card like this to someone and they get it and it be all smashed or torn up, because sometimes the mail is not very gentle with our packages or our envelopes. And also what I would do is I would write on my envelope non-machinable, or if you have a stamp, you can stamp on your envelope non-machinable, and that will keep them from running it through the machine and causing it to get torn up. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to put these corners together, and I'm going to do that with some art glitter glue. And you want to try to bring these corners together as best you can so that you have a nice even seal around the outside of your card. So what we're going to do is we're going to start down here at the bottom, and we're going to pull that up. And if we put a dot of glue, let's see, my art glitter glue is right here. You want to put a dot of glue right here, and then run it up the side, giving yourself enough to make sure that it does adhere. And then pull that over into your glue, and once you get a hold of it up here, you want to go ahead and get that to come together. And I like to hold my finger right here to make sure that it does square up on that corner. That will make sure that you have a really good, and I'm putting my bone folder inside to help give me a little something to mash against, because you can't mash this down or press it down like you would a regular envelope, because you're going to lose your box effect. And we're going to do the same thing with this side, but we're going to have to tuck that under. So let's go ahead and put our glue on. Little dot right there, and then just run it up the side. And now very gently tuck it under, like so. And just hold it for a minute and it'll catch. And again, you want to try to make sure that that corner edge right there is nice and straight. And I'm going to get my hand in there and just press it down that way. And I'm also going to do the same thing on the other side, just to make sure that we've got a good seal on it. And now, as you see, we have us a very nice envelope that we can slide this card in without it getting messed up, and we can seal that up and mail that card off with no problem. But again, like I said, I would still put non-machinable on this envelope. And if you want to use a little heavier cardstock, if you have something that's heavier, that might be a good idea as well, so that you have a stiffer envelope for that. But I did promise you that I was going to show you how I'm going to decorate the inside of this. So before we go any further, let me put my pen back in my glue, and I'm going to pick out some stamps, and we're going to stamp inside of this card. But I'm going to take the mat out. I had the other piece that I had left over from this craft colored mat, so I am going to use that for my inside, since it will match, and I think it looks really pretty in there, like so. It is a little bit smaller than the one outside, but it still works, and it gives a really nice look inside the card, and we're not wasting this piece of cardstock. So let's find, I'm trying to decide, do I want to make this a birthday card? And I think I do. So in order to make this match the outside of this, I am going to use my ink, and we are going to color or distress the edges of this like we did the other one. And I'm going to use the Tattered Rose, just like we did on the outside. And it doesn't take a whole lot to get this to work on here. So we're just going to go around the edges just like we did before in the last video. I really enjoyed making this card with the flowers and the lace and the different elements that we put on it. I thought it was so much fun, and I hope that you will try your hand at something like this. Just look in your stash and use whatever you've got. If you've got some pieces of lace, you'll be surprised what you can do with those. Join them up with some flowers that you might have, or maybe even some flowers that you've made yourself by using stamps and things like that. So just that's what I did when I got ready to make this card. I knew I wanted to do something in a shabby chic look. I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do, but I did want something that was going to be that have a lot of interest to it. And I thought this had a lot of interest. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the same stamp set that I did on the front, May All Your Dreams Come True. And I am going to put inside Celebrate, Happy Birthday. And I might even do this balloon. That balloon is so cute. And I think in order to do all of these, I am going to pull out my Misty, since I am going to use more than one stamp. Let's see, Happy Birthday, and how about Have a Fabulous Birthday? That's cute. We'll do Have a Fabulous Birthday, and then Happy Birthday and a balloon maybe on both sides. I think that would be so cute. So let's see if we can pull out the Misty. And I am going to use the full size because I want to make sure that I have enough room to get everything in here. I'll close my ink back up before I make a mess. I'm going to lay my card up there out of the way just for a moment. Seems like no matter how big of a work surface you have, when you are crafting, it's never quite big enough. So let's put this down in this corner. When I use the Misty, I always try to make sure that I choose a corner, because that way if my cardstock moves, I can always be assured that I'm getting it back into the right area by just putting it back to that corner. So that's the great thing about a stamp positioner. It allows you to pick your stamps up, and I think I'm going to do Happy Birthday and Have a Fabulous Birthday. I think that's what I want to do. So I'm just going to line these up the way I want them to fall. Let's see, like something like that. And I'm going to come back, I think, and put this balloon over here as well. So let's see. You know, you can never have too many birthday cards, so I think that's a good reason to do this in a Shabby Chic format, because like I said, this card could go for any occasion, and with the sentiment that I put on there, you know, it could be a congratulations, anniversary, a retirement. There was just endless possibilities for that card. I'm sorry about that clank. That was actually my little center controllers, or my center pieces that I use on my Misty. So we are going to go ahead and ink up these stamps. And just remember, by using this Misty, it allows you to restamp more than once if you need to. Now, a lot of times with these particular stamps, see, I still get ink all over everything, so I always have to go back and get a wipe and clean that up a little bit, or I just have a mess. Now, more than likely that would not get on my cardstock, but I'm not taking any chances, so I'm going to clean that up prior to stamping it down. And then we're just going to give this a press. You can see that I have definitely used that Happy Birthday stamp quite a bit. I love that font on that Happy Birthday, and like I said, I make quite a few birthday cards, so let's hope this works. And it stamped beautiful. Now, the only thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean up this balloon just a little bit, because I want to bring it over here and I want to position it about here, about like we had the other one, maybe down just a hair. I'm getting it just about in the same position, and that looks good. Now, I am going to clean these off because I do not need to restamp these, and I'm going to take these away. And I'll clean these a little bit better in a few minutes. I'm going to lay them over here on my little scrubber, and then I'm going to pick that balloon back up, and we're going to ink him up, and then we're going to stamp him, and then all we have to do is put this card base, this mat inside our card, and we have our envelope done, and we have our inside of our card done, and this card is ready. So there we go. We're going to put that down and just give it a good little rub. And there's our 2 little balloons, our happy birthday, and that turned out beautiful. So I am going to clean that off just enough to take it off of my MISTI. And put my little pieces back in here, like so. Let's move that out of our way, and then we're going to bring our card back in. And we are going to glue this down like that. And I think for this one I'm just going to use a little bit of the AGT or ATG. I always say those backwards. But I am just going to put a line here and here. And I think I got ink on my fingers. I do. And I'm getting it on the back of this card. So I may need to stop what I'm doing and clean my fingers so I don't mess up the entire card. Now we could go back if you wanted to. We could color in those balloons. There are a lot of little embellishments we could still do to this card. But I like the simplicity of just the way it is. I think this complements the outside of the card because you have a lot going on here. You open it up and it's a very simple happy birthday, have a fabulous birthday. You got a place here to sign the card or even write a little message here. And I think it's just turned out wonderful. And we have made our envelope too. So, like I said, this card is absolutely ready to put in the mail. Remember, if you are mailing a card in a box envelope like this, you will need to add a little extra postage because they go by the width and the size, and I think this one you would probably need to put 2 first-class stamps on it. But again, you know, this is just a wonderful way to send a card. It's like a little gift in a box when somebody gets it and they can open it and see something that you made. And you can put a little note on the back telling them that you handmade this, or if you have a stamp set that has that type of thing on it, where I know I have a stamp set that says made by, and it's got all these different little sentiments. It's actually a May stamp set, and I love it. But anyway, if you enjoyed my video, please give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and like and share the video. I would love for other people to be able to see what I'm doing, and hopefully subscribe to my channel. And that way it helps me to bring y'all more content. So y'all have a very blessed day, and I hope you've enjoyed this part 1 and part 2. If you did not see the first part of this video, I will link it below with in this one so that you can go back and see how I put this card together. It was so much fun and just a beautiful card in my opinion. But y'all let me know what you think. Thanks again so much for tuning in. God bless. And bye-bye.